Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond Loss, Loving Life with Karen Chaston. It is so great to be here, Monday Eastern Time in Australia at noon. It's fabulous to be here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. I'm not going to go as much into the beyond loss and how you can easily move beyond it, unless, of course, you ask the questions. And then, of course, we will. Let me just get my screen right so I can actually see the comments as they come through. Naughty me, I should have got all that up before. Hello, Maria, and hi, Kerry. Oh, nice to see you here, Maria. Okay, Kerry knows. Hi, Marie. Welcome, 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 everyone. Okay, so as you probably gathered by the name, I am a beyond loss expert. I help people to move beyond any kind of loss and create their better everyday life. And I absolutely love exactly what I do. It is totally amazing. And more importantly, it's about helping people to realize that there are over 40 different loss events that can affect all of our lives. So when you know that there's over 40 different loss events, you sort of tend to understand why we have so many different loss events that can come into our lives. And it's not just the death of a loved one. It could be a marriage breakdown, a partnership breakdown, your job loss, your health, your wealth, even your pets. And, thanks to the 2020 pandemic, a lot of the minor ones came to the forefront. Things like loss of freedom, loss of choice, loss of status, changing work conditions, changing recreational activities, and of course, change in social activities, which some of us are still experiencing, though it seems to, if you're in Australia, it seems to be easing a little bit, which is fantastic. Apparently this Thursday, all of Australia is a go zone, a green zone, which is totally amazing. So hi, Liz, great to see you here. Maria, your children who run off. Okay, not sure what that comment means, your children who run off. Can you explain further? Is that what you meant to write? I'm not really sure. Have to love autocorrect, doesn't it? It makes us end up saying some of the really different sort of things. But anyway, if you can explain what you mean, Maria, I can then obviously go from there. So today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. I'm going to share what you said, loss, your children who have run off. Okay, Rose, yes, thank you. Okay, I'm with you. Yes, of course, your children not being part of your life is a huge loss event that, most people do not want to and make bad choices. Yep. And that is a part of life, and it is not that easy to work your way through. And that's why I do what I do, to assist people to know how to move beyond any kind of loss and create their better everyday life. Because none of us have really been taught how to move beyond loss. We don't know what to do. We get stuck in what I call the Groundhog Day days of loss, either getting busy, or frozen in time, not knowing what to do. And we start to use these not so ideal avoidance tactics, which don't help us at all. I did it after the loss of my son. I certainly, went into the busy mode. At the time, I was a CFO of a publicly listed company, and I returned straight back to work the day after his funeral, eating more, drinking more, and working even harder, which was quite ridiculous because I was already working 6 days a week long before Dan had departed from our beautiful realm that we are in at the moment. But today I'm going to talk about actually me bringing my two loves together, and it's really, really exciting. So as I said, I was a CFO of a publicly listed company, so I understood profits. I understood how a company could make more money. I thought I understood people, but I didn't. And I didn't even realize until after, when I started to come into what I do now. that I didn't really didn't understand people. I could never really understand why they couldn't be just like me. Why can't they just come to work and do their job and then go home? But of course, and if you work in a corporation, especially a large corporation, you do tend to become just another person, just another number. And they do expect you to be a little bit one-dimensional. Just leave all your problems at the door, just come in, do your work, just do your tasks for the day and then go home. Don't bring your home life to work and your problems from there and all that sort of stuff. So now I realize just how unrealistic all of that can be. And it's not good. It's not good at all that we have all of these corporations in the whole world who are not looking after their employees. They're not seeing them as their greatest asset. And that's what I want to deep dive in today. So let me know, if you work for a company, if you're a manager of a company, how you treat your employees or how you have been treated, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to start off by saying that Gallup have done surveys, yearly surveys for a very long time, but since the early 2000s up until now, there have been on average a survey that show that only 30% of all employees are engaged. So that's 30%. That's not very many people in a workplace that are engaged. And they went even further to say that the other 70% have, of that 70%, 40% of them are actively disengaged. So what does actively disengaged mean? It means that not only are they not doing their role, they're actively distracting people and stopping them from performing their duties. They're disruptive and they are obviously bad-mouthing and bringing down the company and all this sort of stuff, which makes it not ideal for either the managers or the other employees because, as Laura just said, I get treated like shit. So, Laura, can you sort of expand on that a little bit? When, and because that's quite a broad statement, can you actually become a little bit more specific on how they treat you that way? What are the things they do? Do they recognize the input that you give? Are they helping you to advance in the company? Or are they just literally saying, here's some more work, just do it, don't complain? Because that's what I'm here to sort of talk about today, because it's time for it all to change. It's time for employees to be treated as any company's greatest asset. It's time for the employees to know that when they go to work, they can trust their employees. They can trust their fellow colleagues. They can trust that the management is telling the truth, that they know that people have their back. They know that if they come up with an amazing idea that can enhance productivity or, a different revenue stream or whatever, that they will actually be treated and rewarded for what they bring to the workplace. Just step back and just sort of think about it. If you were valued at work and not treated like as Laura is being treated, what would how different would it be? How different would you be not only in the morning, like getting ready to go to work? How excited would you be if you know that you were about to have an amazing day, that you were going to be treated properly, that your work was going to be appreciated and valued and respected? Okay, Kim, I never really feel part of the team, and it seems like there is a clique group who get what they want. And that's quite interesting, Kim. And look, I have seen that happen in many times. Hi, April, nice to see you here. So, Kim, can we expand on that and explore that? What is it the difference between the click team and everyone else? Is it just that the management like them better? Is it the way that they come to work? Is it the things they do? Are they rewarded? Bullying investigated. I have even had bullying investigated. So, Kim, can you expand on that? So, are you being investigated for being a bully, or are you having other people investigated for their bullying of you? Because it's time for us to deep dive into this, and that's what I want to talk to you about today, because I did a 20-minute presentation recently, and it's called, my program is called the People Profits Connection, and it's about assisting everyone in the workplace to not only know who they are, to know where they're going, to be valued, to be able to rock up and work each and every day and be excited about being there. To know that everyone can collaborate, that there's no requirement for bullying, there's no requirement for a clique group. It's about the more we collaborate, the more we actually can make, not only for ourselves, but for the company, and that it can all just roll along quite nicely. Because when we all know who we are, and it doesn't matter whether you're senior management, mid-management, or an employee, it doesn't matter what level you are all contributing to the company. You are all servicing the clients. And if you're not happy, and if you're not coming to work excited to be there, it shows and it ripples out through the whole company. You know, Gallup has proved only 30% of all employees are fully engaged. So imagine what happens to a company if you actually can activate that other 70%. And that's what I'm really passionate about doing, because I understand loss. I totally understand loss. I am a beyond loss expert. I have deep dived so far into loss. I have written ebooks on it. I have programs on it. I know how to assist people how to move beyond loss. So let's look at that. I had said earlier, there were over 40 different loss events that can affect all of our lives. So that means that every single person, because we haven't been taught how to move beyond loss, is carrying some stuff within them that isn't assisting them to live and love each and every day. We avoid our losses. We don't want to talk about them. We don't want to think about them. We just literally just roll through life, pushing things aside, pushing our emotions aside. And it's not good for us. You know, that's where disease comes from. That's where we're carrying around all this baggage, which is just weighing us down and weighing us down and weighing us down, to the point that we just think, well, this is what life's about. But it doesn't have to be that assumption. It really doesn't have to be that way. We can all live a life full of our dreams, but it's about us understanding loss, because we're in this infinite loop of where we go from love to loss and then back to love. Now, most of us know how to do love. Like, when we are in love with life, how amazing is life? When we can just wake up, know that everything that's coming our way is perfect, that we are loving life, all areas of our life. And in the Chaston Center model, there are 12 areas of life under 4 pillars, where we deep dive into them and we understand all about you, all about your relationships, all about your expertise, and all about your wealth creation, so that we can ensure that you love life. So when you know how to love life, all of a sudden we travel a little bit further down our life road, and then loss comes to us in any of its forms. And because we don't know how to move beyond it, it takes us down. It can affect all of our areas of our life. They sort of all come out of balance because we don't know how to move beyond what is happening in our life. So we take this to work with us, and we don't understand why people don't understand us. Like, they know this is going in my life. Well, why aren't they just being a little bit kinder or a little bit nicer? Why is it that they are mistreating me all the time? Why is it that they expect me to just pick myself up and move on? Don't they understand how I am suffering? And that's the thing. People don't, because they haven't experienced what you've experienced. And until you experience something, you really can't tell people what it's like. You know, for the mothers out there or the fathers out there, until you have your own child, you really don't understand how there is this instant bond, how there is this instant love, how all of a sudden you have someone in your life who you have unconditional love for, that you would do anything for, that you would literally put yourself in front of any danger just to save your child. And it's really hard to explain that to anyone who hasn't experienced becoming a parent. So that's what it's like with loss. You know, a death of, just say a death of a loved one, any loved one. It could be your parents, your grandparents, your children, your friend, your colleague. Until someone else has experienced it, it's really, it's very difficult to explain to them what you're going through. And because they know that that may happen to them, especially a grandparent or a parent or even a sibling, it's like, I don't want to think about it. I'm going to push it over here. I'm going to push it out of the way, because the more I push it out of the way, the more it's not going to come. It's like it's a virus that's going to affect me. If I acknowledge your loss, then I might get catching on to me, which is a bit ridiculous. So, Kerry, I was mistreated at times. I ended up being sick and not wanting to go to work. And that's exactly right, Kerry. And thank you for making that comment. When you are being mistreated, it does start to affect every single cell in your body, because you continually think about it. You continually feel into the emotions. And emotions are energy in motion. And they're our friend. And I know that's a really not easy comment for people to actually take on board, but it's a reality. Our emotions are our friends. They're energy in motion. So let me spend a few moments on this. But before I do, I'm just going to have a water, because I've been talking, as you can see, for about 18 minutes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Kim, I'll read your comment in a sec. So so emotions are energy in motion. Our unconscious mind remembers every single millisecond of our life. So it remembers every single interaction that we have had with whoever has come into our life path. Our conscious mind doesn't. Because imagine if our conscious mind, we were conscious of every single millisecond, we'd be in overload, even more so than what we're in overload with the outside world, let alone our inside world. So because our unconscious mind remembers every little thing, when something happens, it pulls up this scenario and go, remember this, deal with this, fix this, do this. This is what causes your emotions. And the memory of a past event that caused you emotion of anger or hurt or mistrust or whatever emotion it caused, when you're in a similar situation, it will throw it up again for you to deal with. And that's why I say your emotions are your friends. They're there to guide you. Hey, there's something here that requires healing. There's something here for you to deep dive in, find the answer. And when you do, we'll stop putting you in scenarios where this keeps coming up, because you haven't learned from it. You haven't grown from it. And remember, we're all spiritual beings having an earthly or human experience. And we're all here to learn and grow. And we learn and grow through our experiences, whether they are loving or loss experiences. That's how we learn and grow. It's through getting the lessons, through understanding, from becoming the person who we came here to be. So if you've missed the lesson, it'll keep putting you into scenarios so that you can get the lesson. Have you ever noticed that, you end up dating the same person who is not ideal for you? They look different on the outside, but they're treating you or mistreating you exactly the same way. And the whole idea of that is for you to get the lesson. And when you do, it's about you learning and growing. And it may be as simple as you setting your boundaries or you learning how to say, no, this is not good enough. I will not allow you to treat me this way. And so that's why I say your emotions are your friends. They're guiding you to look at something that is not ideal in your life. Okay, Kim, thank you. I was the one being bullied because I stood up for myself. Then the in charge was only nice to me when she wanted something like roster changes or would give me Okay, Kim. I have a girlfriend that's going through exactly a similar situation at the moment. And my advice to her was when she came to me was for you to call your supervisor out on it, to actually say, look, this is how I feel. Now, when you say to someone, this is how you feel, it's completely different to saying this is how I think. Because people can say, well, you're thinking incorrectly. It's not like that. But no one can ever say that you are feeling incorrectly because the way you feel is the way you feel. And it's just a very slight terminology change, but it means a whole lot. Because when you talk to someone and you say to them, look, this is how I feel, and I'd like to just see if I'm misreading this situation, but this is what's coming up for me. And then you can actually say, this is what it is, and you'll have scenarios. You only come to me when you want me to do a different roster for you. You give me these tasks to do, whereas you're giving everyone else better tasks. And these are really, really not ideal tasks for me to do. And I feel that you're not utilizing me in the best way. I hope that helps. Let me know, Kim, and we can go from there. Because it's about us using our voice, but it's about our using our voice in a way that is not attacking. It's in a way of saying, look, this is how I feel, and I'd like to, figure out how we can make it so it's not like this. I feel that I'm being victimized. I feel this, you know what I mean? And then they can't argue with how you feel. It's really that simple. You can then sit down because you've had a conversation that has no anger in it, no accusing in it, because this is how I feel. So you're not attacking the other person. Whereas if you were to say something along the lines of, I think you're victimizing me and I think you're bullying me, that's an attack, okay? No one wants to be attacked. But if you just reverse it, you'll still get exactly the same message across, but you'll do it in such a nicer manner that they actually have to look at it and saying, well, the way you feel is the way you feel. I cannot change the way you feel, but I can assist you to do things differently to alleviate the way you feel or to change the way you feel so that you can feel that you are a valued member of this company. And that's what you can say. I feel that I am not valued. I feel I am not respected. And give examples. And it's a really easy conversation to have when you approach it from that way. Hope that helps, Kim, because it is about my people and profits connection is I actually say, to the senior people in the company, give me your worst employee. I would love to work with your worst employee. So in your case, Kim, I feel, right, I may be wrong, that your supervisor would go, here, take Kim. And I would then know, not that I'm saying, I'm going to your company, but what I would say is I know that they give me people who they perceive to be like you, right? And therefore, I get to help them not only to become one of their best employees, but I also get the supervisors to actually see that the way you treat people is the way that you get productivity and performance returned to you. So when we all start to look at things from a different perspective, we can all start to value every single person in the organization, because every single person is a valued part of that organization. It's just like a little, they can't all work without the other, because they'd be all lopsided. They wouldn't feel. I'm just reading Kim's second part. I did it. I went to mediation. Wow, that's very disappointing, Kim. And hopefully her management style has changed if she has gone to leadership training. But yeah, if you want to have a conversation with me, just PM me or email me. I'll type my email in here for any time. I'd love people to email me, because not being happy in the workplace is a huge loss event, because we spend so much time in the workplace. There's my email address for anyone. Because we spend so much time in the workplace that it's really important for us to love going to work. Because when we love going to work, not only do we excel at work, but the whole company thrives, because having all of your employees just love being there. Workplace just is so amazing when everyone just knows that they're all important, that they make a huge difference. So yeah, reach out, Kim. I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to obviously, go into it. Are you still at that workplace, or even assist you to be able to go somewhere where you are appreciated? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So many times we think that we're locked into where we are, and we wonder why, we have to be there. And if you have, a really negative emotional attachment to your workplace, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. It's going to make you sick. Cancer starts from, a cell not being happy. It really is that simple. And the last thing you want is for your cells in your body to be continually attacked through your negative thoughts and all that sort of. Yeah. Okay. But if you need help, Kim, just as I said, reach out. I'd love to be able to help you in any way. That's what I love to do, and that's why the People and Profits connection is so important, and that's why I love what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now, and it's not for now, it's for another time, because then we'll go and talk about something else for the next half hour, is I'd really love to share anytime. Reach out and have a look at my 20-minute presentation that I did at the authors showcase, which was in Sydney on the 13th of April at the New South Wales State Library. I've just shared it with you. Not now. Stay here. We've still got another half hour to go. Right. So 40 different loss events that can affect all of our lives. So let's have a look at some of them now, because it's really important for us to actually realize that with so many different grief loss events that can affect our lives, it's important for us to know what they are. It's important for us to realize, first of all, that it is a loss event. It's a grief causing situation, because sometimes things happen in our life and you could grab any of them. And when we talk to our friends or colleagues or family about it, they don't understand that you may be in grief over it. They don't understand why you are feeling the way they are. They haven't experienced what you're feeling. So sometimes they give you the not so ideal advice, and that causes you to isolate or suffer in silence. And that's not what we want. We want people to go, do you know what? This is a grief situation. I could follow Karen's. Okay, thanks, Kerry. See you later. So we could follow, the beyond loss process, which I call the gift of loss. And then you'll be able to go, right, even though this just seems like something that most people would never consider is loss, if it's on the list, it is a grief-causing scenario. So it's important for you all to realize that it is something for you to go, do you know what? The way I feel is justified. And I can then go through this process, which will assist me to get back to love, to get back to loving my life. But more importantly, it assists you to look at where you are in your life and go, these are the things I want to stop doing. These are the things I want to start doing. And these are the things I want to continue doing so that I can create my better everyday life. If you look back at the pandemic from 2020, yeah, exactly, Katie. Most people do have a lot on that list. And let me share it again. Whenever I share this, I can remember the most I've ever had is 21. And the lady said, I'm 40 years old and I've had 21 of those loss events in my life. And it's important for us to know that because we haven't been trained on how to move beyond loss, more than likely we've shoved the emotions down and we've followed the age-old advice. Oh, just keep busy, give it time, everything will be all right. But we start to do these avoidance tactics, which are not so ideal, just so we don't have to feel. We don't have to feel the pain of what we have lost. And, before we know it, we're drinking every day, we're over shopping, we're overworking, we're, there on a Netflix trilogy for days and days and days. And we wonder what is going on in our life. Or actually, we wonder why we're not achieving all of our dreams and hopes and our aspirations. It's because we haven't processed and completed the loss event that has happened in our life. So it's really important for us to understand that when we can go back, and it doesn't matter when it is, even for something that happened in your childhood, we can still heal it now at whatever age you are. And the funny thing about it, that when you do heal it, you just feel lighter. You feel taller. You just feel, oh my God, if I had healed that earlier, I wouldn't have made these not so ideal choices along the way. And it's important for us to know that our choices all come back to the events that have happened in our life. And it's also really important for us to know that whatever choice we've made in our life, with the information that we knew at that time, we made the right choice. Okay? And that's a concept that I'd really like for you to embrace, because it's important for you to understand that your choices are always right. Now, if you had the more information that you now have back then, of course you would have made a different choice, because you would have gone, oh, wow, well, with this extra information, there is no way I would have made that choice. But because we are looking back from a more informed perspective back at our life, sometimes we are really angry with ourselves and we find it hard to forgive ourselves for that choice that we made. But it's important for you to remember, but you didn't have all the facts then. You didn't have all the facts back then. You have them now. And of course, you will make a different choice now, a more informed choice. So moving forward, you are coming from a a better perspective because you have all that information. So that's really important for you to not beat yourself up, because we're so good at beating ourselves up. We're with ourselves 24/7, and our mind just goes over and over and over and over and loves to just go, oh, why did you do that? Oh, why did you eat that? Or why did you say that? Or why didn't you say this? Or why didn't you do this? And all of these sort of things. Or why didn't you stay longer at the gym? We all have been there. We've all done that. So let's start to be nicer to your own best friend, because it's time for you to become your own best friend. And that's what I found through everyone that I work with, is that they start to reconnect to themselves, and they start to realize that, do you know what? It's time I put me first. It's time that I said yes to me and no to everyone else, which, when you think about it, if you're going to a workplace where you're not happy every day, Kim, you're saying no to yourself. You're saying that you don't matter. And it's, it is time for you to go, I matter. My happiness matters. My health matters. My well-being matters. And if I continue in this toxic workplace, I am putting myself last, and I am going to become sick from it, because your body is there to protect you. Your number one derivative of all of your life is survival. And you are more than likely in survival at the moment. And when you are in survival, you find it really, really hard to move on to our number two derivative, which is to thrive. Now, not many people thrive in life because they get stuck in that survival mentality. So I hope that helps you, Kim, to find a way to really become and find that job that you want. And I know that sometimes it's not easy, but it's, you can create a resume and you can get yourself out there no matter where you are. And you can really learn how to live and love your life, which is amazing. So each time before I come on, I always like to pick a little card from the Channeled Spiritual Guidance card by Marcia Quinton, which I just think are so ideal for this, because I picked the card and it just has a little thing on the back. So today's card, as you can see, isn't it so beautiful? It's number 27, which is Spiritual Awakening. Okay, so let's have a look at number 27. 27 adds to 9. Now, 9 is the end of a cycle. So it goes from 1 to 10, 1 to 9. And so it's all about we're finishing off something. So this is probably very apt. And I have to tell you, when I was shuffling these, this one literally jumped out of the pack onto the ground. So I just went, okay, this is the perfect card for today. So let me read it. So it is Spiritual Awakening. Your consciousness is responding to the power of spirit. A spiritual awakening has occurred for you today. The power is flowing gently into your life as the light streams through your doorway. A strong dormant power lies within you, which is shining forth like a beacon into a well of shadows and darkness. Accept this awareness and hold on to the light. Let the wondrous streams of luminosity guide you forward. Grow strong with this beautiful gift. Open your mind, body, and soul to embrace where it will lead you, as it is from the gentle touch of spirit. How amazing is that? And of course, before I come on, I always ask for spirit, my higher self, and all of my angels and all of the amazing masters of the universe to come in and to guide me and to what I'm going to share. So that is totally amazing. So I hope that has helped you in some way to know that it is all about your spiritual awakening. And I know that we're on the spiritual events directory as well as Karen Chaston. We're on different pages at the moment. But it's important that we understand this, that we know and we love everyone. So we're running out of time as always. So I'd love to know if you have any questions, if there are anything that you would like me to answer, a comment. Wow, I've had so many of them on that list. Totally understand, Katie. Have you healed from them all, Katie? That would be my question to you. Have you done the deep dive into you and found the gifts of all of those losses that have occurred in your life? Now, let me explain what I mean when I say the gifts, because as you all know, my 27-year-old son, Dan, died in 2011. So it's nearly 10 years since he's passed. And people say to me, Karen, how can you say there was a gift in Dan passing? And of course, there was no gift in Dan passing. The gift came after. The gift came with me waking from my Groundhog Day days. It helped me to deep dive into my life and look at what was working, what wasn't, was it time for me to stop doing? What was it for me to start doing? What was it for me to keep doing? Now, as I said, or I'm not sure if I have said it today, but when Dan passed, I went straight back to work. I was a busy CFO and I knew how to do that. Didn't know how to be a grieving mother, didn't want to be a grieving mother. So I literally went straight back to work the day after his funeral. Working more, drinking more, and eating even more. Now, drinking more. Right before Dan passed, I was drinking a bottle of wine a night. So I started drinking even more than that. And it took me a while for me to cut back to the point that at the end of 2018, the 30th of December 2018, was when I had my last alcoholic drink. It was my choice. And the reason, and I had a lot of reasons why I chose to stop drinking. I wasn't classed as an alcoholic. I didn't go to AA. I just chose that I was going to stop drinking. And one of the major reasons was because I wanted to vibrate higher. When you have alcohol in your system, you vibrate at a lower level. I wanted to vibrate higher to connect more with Dan. Dan is my guidance. Dan gives me so much. It may not be all Dan I get my guidance from, but I have said Dan is my guidance. I get downloads all the time. And I just knew that the more that I did not have alcohol in my system, the easier it was for me to vibrate higher. Another reason why, as I kept journeying on my life path of becoming my own best friend and deep diving into loss, I started to realize that I said earlier that in the Chaston Center Wheel of Life, we have 12 areas of life, which come under 4 pillars: all about you, all about your relationships, all about your expertise, and all about your wealth creation. So when I deep dived into me, I wasn't looking after me as well as I could. But more importantly, some of my relationships were not ideal. And when we were drinking together, they got even more fractured. So I decided that I'd prefer to have amazing relationships with everyone in my life than I needed to have an alcohol in my life. So that was another reason why I chose to give up alcohol. And I have to say, all of my relationships have been enhanced because of that choice. Now, I'm not saying you should give up alcohol. All I'm saying is look into the edge area of your life and start to see what you'd like to stop doing, what you'd like to start doing, and what you'd like to continue doing, because it's your life. And no one has an expiry date on their birth certificate. No one. So do you really want to go on to your next adventure with some regrets from things that you could have done better in this realm? I know the answer for me was no. I want to make sure I have no regrets. I want to make sure that when I decide to go on to that next adventure, that I'm really happy with the things that I've done in my life. Sure, it may be more in the third act of my life, as opposed to the first or the second act. But I know that everything I did in that first and second act was about me learning and growing, about me finding out what are the things I want to stop doing, what are the things I want to start doing, and what are the things I want to continue doing. And without those experiences of doing them, I wouldn't have been able to make a conscious, informed choice. I hope that helps. Okay, Katie. No, I haven't healed from them all. I have at least 23 that I can count. Wow, Katie, that's a lot. Reach out. I'd love to be able to assist you to heal from them, because there is a process that I love to share with people and assist them with. I'm in the process of actually writing my paperback book, which my intention is to get it published later this year. And it's called Demystifying Loss, because the only reason we don't heal from our losses is because we really just don't understand it. So the more that I assist people to demystify it, the easier it will be for people to move on. Though in the meantime, if you would like to connect to you and start the process of actually being able to deep dive into you and for you to become your own best friend, I created this amazing 45 days activity series, which I've called Revitalize Your Life. And I've just got that here. I'll bring it up on the screen there as well. It's called Revitalize Your Life. And it's so amazing. So it's a 45-day activity where each day you get loaded into your own little special area, a new activity, and it's all about you reconnecting to you so that you can find the clarity to have joy and fulfillment in your life, which I totally love. And it's a totally amazing series. And because I know how important it is for everyone to be able to revitalize your life, I have literally created it for $1 a day. It's $1 Australian a day. That's $45. You get the whole series, because I know that people are so disconnected from who they are. And that was the whole idea of me creating this 45 days. And if you probably gathered, 45 adds to 9. Yes, it's all about the end of that cycle. It's all about you then going, wow, this has really given me the clarity so that I can bring the joy and the fulfillment into my life. Because isn't that what life's about? Us living joyously. So that's what that is all about. So Katie, reach out to me, PM me, or just have my email I posted earlier. Just send me an email if you would like to be able to find out more, or just literally click on that link that I've just shared here in the comments, the Revitalize Your Life, because it literally will assist you to do that deep dive into you, to see which of the major losses that you've had in your life require the healing first. Because sometimes it's like a little thread that when you actually look at all the losses in your life, you can go back and you can go, wow, if I had healed this one then, these other ones may not have occurred, or they may not have affected me the way they did, which means I would have made better choices and not rolled into other things, and the other areas of my life would not have been affected so much more. Right, that's it. I am finished talking. I'm going to take another little sip on my probably cold tea now. Thank you. So are there any more questions? Because I really would love to answer any questions. I appreciate you all being here and staying to the end. I know I talk a lot, but do you know why I talk a lot? Because I just love it. I honestly wish that I had had this understanding at a much younger age. I really feel that everything I teach should be ideally taught to us in high school. Would we have valued it? Maybe not, but we would have remembered it. We would have gone, wow, you know what? Down the road, Right. What was it that Karen taught me then? It's like a little maths problem. Yeah, you learn the sort of formula. You may not use it until 20 years later. And then you go, oh, what was that formula again? And then you look it up. You go, right, these are the steps. That's how I come to the answer. Oh, thank you, Diane. That's so pretty. That's so nice of you to say that. Because there's a funny thing about when you're talking. You never learn anything when you're talking. You only learn when you're listening. So thank you, Diane. I really do appreciate that you saying that you love listening to me. And I guess it's because, you know what? I just love sharing all of this information because I feel it's time. It's time for us all to not only understand loss, it's time for us to understand the people and profits connection. That the more that we look after every single person in the organization and understand that they are an intricate part, they are so important, that they are your greatest asset. And let's face it, every company, when they have an asset, they maintain it, they look after it, they make sure it's in tip-top working condition. And a lot of companies need to do that with their employees. And I wish that I understood it the way I did now when I was a CFO. I know that I would have been different. I would have treated my employees different. I always treated them pretty well anyway, but I just know I would have enhanced it even more. And I would have had more gratitude for them and more understanding for them when they did have their off days, when they didn't rock up as well as what they did even the day before. I would have taken the time to go, how can I assist you? What can I do for you today? How can I make it easier for you? And unfortunately, sometimes we've got to experience things before we can have that empathy and that understanding and that love for everyone in the world. Because let's face it, we are all connected, whether it's through energy. We are all living very similar lives where all we want is for our family and our loved ones and our friends and our colleagues to live a happy and prosperous life. That's all we all want. It doesn't matter where we live in the world. That's all we want. And I feel it's time for everyone to be able to do it. And the key is understanding loss. Because when we understand loss, we can then live and love each and every day so much more effectively and efficiently. So that's what it's all about. Kim, thank you so much for your help and insight. My pleasure, Kim. Reach out. I'm not, I totally understand if you choose not to, but, I'm here if I can assist you in any way at all. And remember, before I go, that you are the most important person in your life. Your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations matter. And it's important for you to know that you matter. No matter what you may feel inside, you matter. So start to live and love each and every day. And I look forward to seeing you all next week, same time, noon, EST, Eastern Australian time, every Monday. And until then, take care of yourself because you matter. And make sure you have some of your me time each and every day. Bye for now. And please make sure that you really do start to set your boundaries and know that you truly do matter. Bye for now.